This is our world, or, as one famous astrophysicist called it, our pale blue dot. The place we're born, work, die, and, yes, pay taxes. From the smallest atom to the restless seashore, this is all we know. We grow into it, taught how it works, what to love, what to fear, where we live, and how we're guided through society's quiet tides as it shapes us more than we ever like to admit. When people hear the word world building, it sounds simple enough. Maps, castles, strange names, a few roads, a hill or two, maybe a general overview, and that'll do, right? But true world building is immersion. It isn't daydreaming, it's architecture at the most personal level. You don't invent the place, you inhabit it. You learn the sound of its wind, the weight of its air, the color of its silence. If you lived there long enough, it will start stir back. Its technical term is called pareidolia. The deepest details, the brickwork, the weather, the breath of a world and the universe it inhabits never come from comfort. They're born in solitude, in reflection, in that long, quiet pressure between thought and survival. Some call it daydreaming. Others call it being unfocused, a mind drifting too far from the present. Some let it turn inward and dark. Others learn to shape it, to build with it, to harness a kind of gentle self-illusion and turn it into a living universe. In those inner worlds, every planet has a past, every creature a habit, every silence a reason. When the outer world begins to fracture, the inner one begins to build. The mind starts shaping shelter, a landscape of meaning strong enough to hold you steady. Some people might call that imagination. Writers call it world building. There was once a documentary about prisoners of war in Vietnam. The interviewer asked a survivor, "How did you make it through the darkest times?" His answer changed how I saw everything and helped me understand something about my own mind. How I learned to live with pain, to move through it, and, somehow, to build from it. They survived those years of captivity by creating entire worlds in their minds, brick by brick, corridor by corridor. They could walk through those places, feel sunlight on the walls, hear wind moving through imagined trees. That wasn't fantasy. It was the mind's quiet way of staying whole. And I realized that same instinct lives in all of us, a safeguard built into our nature. When guided, it becomes something extraordinary, a place for the mind to live, to create, to endure. Some worlds are forged under pressure, not in peace. Comfort dulls the hunger. You don't need hardship to create. But as a reader, you can always feel the difference. When life becomes too easy, the inner landscape fades. Imagination goes quiet, like a city buried beneath snow. We mistake peace for happiness, forgetting that it's pressure that keeps the dream alive. When the belly is empty, the hunger is sharpest. And that's when I began to understand I wasn't losing my mind. I was keeping it steady. From that distant, almost godlike view, I began to carve my own world. Oceans remembered wars. Continents carried the trails of migration. Every eclipse had its cause and its consequence. My planet held memory, myth, and scar alike. Because a world without wounds isn't believable. For every truth, there's a lie. And I recorded every whisper between them. Then you zoom in, and the world begins to breathe. You can smell the wind of each region, read fear and hope in the way buildings lean toward the sun. Climate shapes culture. Faith grows where survival demands it. Even the smallest object, a cup, a coin, a fragment of cloth, carries the weight of history. Conflict leaves geological fingerprints, and that's when you see it. Real world building isn't shiny. it's honest. It doesn't show the version of you that smiles for the world. It shows the private one. The version shaped by loss, by endurance, by that long pressure you never talk about. Every true world is built in that quiet chamber of survival. Most people never mention it. It reveals too much. Every great builder carried the same pressure, a weight the real world couldn't hold. Tolkien, orphaned at 12, haunted by the Somme. He watched beauty die young, then rebuilt it in myth. Middle-earth became the map of his memory. Grief turned into language and song. Frank Herbert, watching humanity drain its own planet, feared what we were becoming. His anxiety over politics and ecology became Dune, a warning carved in sand. Ursula Le Guin, born among anthropologists, raised to question culture, balance, and belief. Her worlds asked what it means to live in harmony with difference, to build societies that breathe instead of conquer. Beatrix Potter, the quiet rebel, born into comfort, caged by Victorian expectation. Her talking animals carried her defiance, gentleness as rebellion, order as freedom. And my savior, Octavia Butler, shy, dyslexic, often alone, told she didn't belong in the future, that she wouldn't fit in. So she built one herself. Her fiction was muscle. Endurance shaped into story. Different lives, different wounds, but all carved worlds strong enough to contain what reality could not. But one truth ran through all of them. These titans of imagination, none of them built fast. They carried their worlds for decades, rewriting, refining, returning. The depth didn't come from the moment the idea arrived, but from the years they lived beside it. Duration is pressure too, and pressure builds worlds. War, fear, isolation, restraint. Each forged its own mythology. The hands that made them stayed steady, even when the heart broke. World building isn't fantasy, it's endurance. The quiet art of living long enough with your wound to teach it how to sing. So the next time you look at a book cover, whether it's The Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan, A Song of Ice and Fire, George R.R. Martin, The Hyperion Cantos, Dan Simmons, or The Chronicles of Narnia. C.S. Lewis, remember this: it didn't appear out of thin air or rise from a few clever ideas. These worlds were carved slowly, through time, through maturity, through that focused kind of madness that lets a mind slip its chains and wander somewhere else. Draft after draft, year after year, doubt and obsession pushing against each other until the world became real enough to outlast the person who dreamed it. So that's my rant over with. My little insight into the madness that somehow managed to fuel my sanity for over 40 years. It's daunting and exciting in equal measure. Most nights, I find myself asking the same question. Why hasn't there been a true, epic, 10-plus book world build in the past 20 years? Maybe it's the same reason there's never been a Dark Side of the Moon 2. No one would be foolish or brave enough to attempt one, and no record company would ever bankroll it. But here I am, standing on that edge, about to either break the mold or crash and burn trying. And honestly, I'm fine with that, because I've never called myself a writer, and I never will. That makes me safe, in a way. Free, even. Just someone with a crazy idea and time on their hands. Time will tell how far this madness goes. But if you've listened this far, thank you. If you liked it, share it, pass it on. And maybe, just maybe, keep an eye out for my own journey, for the strange, stubborn, and utterly relentless world I've spent a lifetime building. And if you feel the need, my fundraising round's just around the corner. since I couldn't find a publisher daft enough to bankroll me for 40 years. So, if you've got spare change and a reckless streak, you know where to find me.